Another day, and another Labour promise completely overturned. They say all this stuff and then do the exact opposite. So going forward, when Labour say they will do something, just know they will do the opposite every single time. In today's video, we will go over their latest lie and what Rayner said on TV, all whilst going over all of the latest news from up and down the country. But first, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and join our fast-growing community. Just a quick one to say we do have t-shirts available on our website. We have stuck Farmer and Make Britain Great Again ones. Make sure you check the link in the description or go to britishstand.com. So, another Labour lie. WASPy women were promised by Labour that they would receive compensation. Guess what? They won't be under Starmer's government. Meanwhile, Labour are giving away free money and foreign aid, pay rises to unions, all while the Guft owes its citizens their money back. Have a watch of what Rayner said back before they were elected. Just spewing lies at this point.
Well, the government failed the women who were born in the 1950s. They stole their pension, that contract, that agreement that they thought they had, and then accelerated it so that those women didn't have the chance to prepare for that. We've said we'll right that injustice, and within the 5 years of the Labour government, we will compensate them for the money that they've lost. This is their money that they've had stolen off them, and it's completely unacceptable. And any government should act responsibly to these women who have looked after their children through that period. They're often looking after elderly relatives now, and they're a part of our society that have felt really unjust by the way they've been treated, and it's absolutely right that we deal with this issue.
Now, this is what Starmer said yesterday.
Well, I do understand their concerns. The Ombudsman's findings were clear in relation to the maladministration, but also clear about the lack of direct financial injustice as the Ombudsman saw it, and that's why we've taken the decision that we've taken. But I do understand, of course, the concern of the WASPy women, but also, of course, I have to take into account whether it's right at the moment to impose further burden on the taxpayer, which is what it would be.
This how people reacted. Charles said, "I am what's often referred to as of a certain age, or basically getting on a bit. But with age, I remember what Labour have always been like, and it's never good. Don't know what we can do to get rid of them." James said, "Another day. Another Labour lie and yet another betrayal of promises made in their disingenuous electoral campaign. How low are they willing to go?" This user said, "Absolutely despicable. The independent body advised a payout of between £1,000 to £3,000, probably far less than they spend on migrants." Dom said, "Compulsive lying is the norm, everyone needs to wake up." This user said, "Has this Labour government ever told the truth about anything?" Mark said, "Just add them to the long list of people duped by Labour." More votes lost, this user said. "I wonder how many WASPies voted Labour in the hope he and Ang would keep their promise. Very sad indeed. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments." In other news, former Home Secretary Suella Braverman has launched a scathing attack on Labour's approach to China, accusing the opposition party of appeasement in its dealings with Beijing. Speaking to the media, Braverman warned that the Labour government doesn't have a grip at all of the threat posed by China. Her comments come as concerns about Chinese influence in British institutions have intensified following recent revelations about alleged Chinese spy Yang Tengbo's connections to the establishment. Braverman specifically criticised Labour's recent engagement with China, pointing to Shadow Foreign Secretary David Lammy's recent Beijing visit and Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves's planned trip to China in the coming weeks. "We're seeing Rachel Reeves going to China in a few weeks' time. Now, this government doesn't have a grip at all of the threat. And quite the opposite, they've got an approach of appeasement," she said. "We saw David Lammy go to Beijing a few weeks ago, ignoring the issue of genocide because he's too scared to confront the Chinese government. We've seen the surrender of sovereign UK territory in the form of Diego Garcia, which falls into the hands of the Chinese state and gives them influence in the Indo-Pacific region. We've seen appeasement through cancelling our Free Speech Act because the Chinese government allegedly put pressure on this Labour government to cancel it, because they're clamping down on challenge against the Chinese Communist Party. So, there is a huge amount that this government has to answer for. They don't have a grip. They are failing to introduce vital measures that we implemented last year. Her comments come amid fresh concerns over Chinese influence following revelations about Yang Tengbo, who has been publicly identified as a suspected Chinese spy with close ties to Prince Andrew. The High Court recently lifted an injunction that had previously referred to Yang only as H6. Yang, 50, described as a close confidant of the Duke of York, was photographed with former Prime Ministers David Cameron and Theresa May. He received an invitation to Prince Andrew's birthday party in 2020, indicating his close relationships with members of the royal family. Yang has since lost an appeal against a UK entry ban imposed due to national security threats, with judges determining he was not truthful about his connections to the Chinese state. The Duke of York's office stated he ended all contact with Yang once concerns were raised by Her Majesty's government. Braverman described China's actions as a silent war being waged against the West and the UK. It's prolific, and as the heads of MI5 and the FBI said a few years ago, China represents the largest single national security threat to our long-term security in the UK, she told the media. She warned that Chinese influence takes a multitude of forms, from hostile company takeovers to institutional influence through Confucius Institutes. Lastly, Prince William was hailed as a glorious gentleman and the beating heart of the Earthshot Prize by an Emmy award-winning actress. The Prince of Wales filmed a comedy sketch with Hannah Waddingham to promote his new environmental documentary, The Earthshot Report, which aired on BBC One on Saturday evening. The friends attempted to play a game of darts at Alexandra Palace, the location of the first Earthshot Prize Awards in 2021, ahead of the venue hosting the World Darts Championships. Waddington described the occasion as absolutely thrilling in an interview with Parade magazine. She said, "What a glorious gentleman he is." Waddington recalled telling the Prince, "Sir, I hope you realise you are a cut above the rest." The British actress, who hosted the Earthshot Report documentary, was also in attendance for Princess Kate's Together at Christmas Carol concert at the beginning of December. She was spotted smiling in a floral dress and deep burgundy jacket. During the interview, she added, "He has created the Earthshot organisation, and he isn't a poster boy for it. It was very obvious from being out there that he is the beating heart, and he really does care. He absolutely has those finalists and the people that are in that whole competition. He holds them up. He gets them everything they need. That man is passionate about the environment, and I was very proud to be there being a kind of figurehead for his organisation." What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.